Hey, I'm Shaw. I live in North Beach, San Francisco, and this is my room tour. To start, we have my bike, which is my commuter sometimes, or I take the lift bike. This is a carbon road bike, which I picked up only about 4 or 5 months ago to enjoy all of the beautiful rides and trails that we have out in San Francisco. I got into road biking about 5 or 6 months ago just because my neighbors upstairs are into biking, and we have amazing views here in San Francisco and Marin to ride your bike around. So far I've been riding a bunch in Marin, specifically on a route called Paradise Loop that's around Tiburon. And it's been a great way to see the city and get out of the fog. When I'm not riding my bike around or running around the city, one of my favorite things to do is spend a lot of time traveling. This year I got to go to Indonesia. Last year I went to Japan. And later this year, I'll be going back to Japan as well as New Zealand. One of my favorite things to do when I'm not spending my time at the office or riding my bike around somewhere. And there's a map of all of the places I hope to go to. So here you can see my limited book collection. I'm not a huge reader, but I keep this here to keep myself honest on what books I've actually read. One of my favorite books, though, is this book here, Shoe Dog, which is a autobiography by Phil Knight, who was, or maybe is still, the CEO of Nike. Really easy read, but super also interesting to just understand how Nike was built and everything that they went through to make the company that it is today. So about a year ago, I got into like endurance sports and stuff to get some mental clarity from, working all of the time after being in college and not doing much. So I got into running first, and I did a half marathon with a bunch of friends in Chicago. I got this big medal here, which is pretty meaningful because it was like my first race I ever did. After that race, I said, okay, maybe I can do a full marathon. And so I trained for one most of the winter of this year, and then I did this one called the Avenue of Giants. This is kind of a not as popular race, but it's up in Humboldt through the redwoods, and so you're completely shaded and get like a really nice view of these redwoods, massive redwoods, as you're running through it. My time was 3:19, which is like a 7:35 or 7:36 average.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, it was a fun run. The only thing that's left to do a triathlon is swimming, which, I know how to float, so I thought I could do the rest. And so most of the summer, I actually trained for this race, which was, I'm actually wearing the shirt too, but it's a half Ironman in Santa Cruz. So it's a 70.3, which is the sum of all the distances in a half Ironman triathlon. So that was pretty awesome. Amazing experience. Honestly, more fun than running a marathon too, because the views in Highway 1 when you're cycling down them are just unreal. So great experience, and I did that about a few weeks ago. If training for that triathlon wasn't enough, I felt like 2025 had to be a big year for me. And so I also got into a new hobby of mine, which was scuba diving. Got my certification along with Maddie. And we did our certification in Monterey, which was something of an experience. That water is very frigid. And like I mentioned earlier this year, I was in Indonesia. And so I got to do a little bit of scuba diving there. Not as much as I would have liked, but future trip will definitely be spending more time underwater there. Another hobby that I've had for a very, very long time is playing the violin. I started playing the violin when I was like 10 or 11 years old. We had a great music teacher in the middle school I went to. 2 years ago, I joined a symphony in the city called the Golden Gate Symphony, where we play a lot of different pieces across like authentic Mexican music, old authentic American music, and traditional classical music. So yeah, I've been playing the violin for like 12 years and try to practice whenever I get some free time. Oh, one sec. Oh God, okay. All right, we'll stop there. One sport that I used to play a lot more of, but I try to stay in touch with, is tennis, which I've played for a long time. I've been playing tennis for like 10, 15 years since I was a kid. I'm from California, so I think it's an extracurricular that every Indian boy has to do. This racket here is a Pro Staff, which is the racket that Federer uses. He obviously has a customized version, but I always thought it was such a cool racket, and I like having these green strings on them as well. In the city, I play a lot at the DiMaggio courts, which are a few blocks away from where I live, and you always get a bunch of good players out there. So yeah, love playing tennis. It's a great sport to just meet people in the city. And my last hobby that I'm absolutely terrible at and just honestly have for show at this point is a little bit of golf. I honestly have not even made it to the course yet. I just bring this bad boy out to the range every once in a while because a lot of my friends play golf, and I've just been trying to get better at, making contact with the ball. So that is probably my last and maybe latest hobby. All right, thanks for stopping by. I gotta go blast off to my run. Cool. So, cool. Okay, cool. Cool.